Working, let's get it going. Alright, hello. Let us begin the continuation of the Federation of the Americas. We are just past the halfway point. We're actually less into the game than I thought, but welcome. I really want to get rid of Venezuela here just because of how it looks, and Peru's autonomous zone is just eh. On the other hand, they were giving us mandate progress, but they've kind of ceased to exist in that regard, haven't they? I don't like the fact that America's Wall Street Pact has taken over Brazil and Argentina, so... Well, I guess a future confrontation with America isn't the worst. We could actually move in on one of them right now if time permits. But yeah, we'll see if that actually works. In fact, let me check right now. Where are we? Well, I'm waiting for any potential ads to end still. There's no defense treaty. It's just that America would probably intervene. Really? Wait, you're more likely to... Oh, this is Belgium. I'm sorry. There's the US. That makes way more sense now. I was gonna say, what do you mean the US won't defend its own economic interests? That doesn't make any rhyme or reason at all. I mean, yeah, if we seize that one state, that's half their GDP. If we seize that and their capital, that's just kind of Brazil done then. That's just the done deal. Then there's Argentina. We could just annex outright, but they cost 45 infamy. And I'm worried that outright annexation means Britain would just start colonizing down here, so I'd rather not just outright annex Argentina. Otherwise, you're going to have the issue of Britain is just going to start colonizing down here. It's the same reason we didn't fully annex Chile. Is we're trying to make sure no one else gets involved halfway through all of this. Paraguay I'm kind of saving for last. We could absolutely destroy them, but there's not really a need to do that. They're kind of the weakest of them all. What has you going so high? Ah, our infamy, of course. Of course it's our infamy. What else would it be? Alright, well, we're just trying to figure out where everything is, because I have not touched this in at least a week. But I think we're still doing fine. The armed forces are powerful, which was kind of a main goal here. We need to survey a skyscraper. That's what we've been missing. So for the rest of our journal entries, I'm not really too fixated on them. I can't wait for our food syndicate to finally hit 100 now that it's finally eating good and is actually doing well. Although apparently some of our food industries are owned by a foreign food company. I did forget that. That is kind of funny, but we'll roll with it. Oh, yes, Vincent, in the Belgium game, the capitalists did hit 50% at one point, but then it kind of fell back down just because of constant mass migration, which happens. Actually, we were just going to start playing, but I am actually just going to go in right now. Who would intervene? Britain? Really? Is Britain powerful? Oh, kinda, yeah, Britain would kick our shingles out, wouldn't they? Kind of just decapitate our knees. 500 ships. Wow, okay. So we don't really have much of a choice but to, well, we are rival to Britain, so making friends with them is a no-go. That is moderately concerning, chat. Britain has enough ships to just quite literally blot out the sun, so I think our new holdings in Mexico are gonna have to become shipyards. Our capitalists nowhere near as much. They're barely even 0.2% of the country. We did allow a notable amount of foreign investment, but now our main instance is just focusing on unifying the Americas. By force, as luck would have it. We just do a warp with this. Could I lure in? No. Trying to see what we could do without luring anyone in, but both the US and Britain have rivaled us. I'm actually just going to return that rivalry. Which is a little unfortunate, but it just means we have to go elsewhere and find allies. In fact, I would love to get an alliance with Germany, but apparently they consider themselves very powerful. Which isn't wrong, that's exactly why I want to make them an ally, because they're so powerful. Our financial situation isn't off to a good position either, but I think that'll be fine if we just ignore it long enough. I think, yeah, it's Panama Canal Company, because we just need the 50k. So that's just what we'll do. Give them a monopoly on ports. I don't know if our trade centers are already getting monopolized by something, or are they just kind of owned by everything? They're just kind of owned by everything. So we'll give them both of those. Could give them shipyards, not that we need it. But we've got a good chunk of the Americas unified under our banner. It's not as much as we'd like, but it's a good amount. And the US has been at least hobbled since the Confederacy won. There's still a significant threat, but not as big of a threat. Ooh. We managed to get the Spanish. That's good. All the way over here in Venezuela, too. 10k in 1 week, 9k in another. Yep, that's not bad. That'll give us some of the pops we need, because we desperately need pops. That's the reason we can't compete against America. They have a lot more people than we do. Well, actually, no, they don't. Now that they lost the Confederacy, they really got hobbled. So we'll actually be fine in that regard. I really want to just kill the rest of this now and unify it, but I'm pretty sure if we do that, both Britain and the US will jump us. And if they both jump us, we are going to die. It's not a question of if. We can continue to bully Mexico. That is something we can continue to do. I don't know if that's a wise idea, but no one really wants to defend Mexico, so they are kind of one of the countries we could invade and just bulldoze. But I think for the moment we might focus on knocking down the liberty desire of these autonomous states to knock them out. That way they can't betray us later, because I'm sure they're already plotting our downfall. Ah! An admiral is currently in charge of the country. Oh, right, yes, we probably should get the small arms prestige good. I did kind of forget about that. We did just do the Panama Canal, and once that's prosperous, we'll get a new company slot from it. So I'm not too worried about it. As long as it doesn't do terribly, we'll be fine. But since it can control trade centers in places like China, I'm not too worried. It should be able to grow over time. I'm more worried about our financial situation since we control a lot of our own construction now. But the Belgians still invest in us, as do the Germans and the Italians, and the Belgian investment will be very good for our steel mills until they overproduce steel and the price collapses. But what else is new when you let the AI build up steel? I've noticed that's a common theme when it comes to the AI and steel. No, I think the monopoly mechanic is still not fully functioning as intended. I don't think it's precisely working. I'm just hoping that by giving the Panama Canal Company that control, they'll have an easier time buying it all up. Just to make it easier on them. The good news is that our main forces will now have access to shrapnel artillery rather than mobile artillery. That is going to be a notable improvement to our military capabilities. It doesn't mean we can suddenly go challenge Britain, but we should be fine. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get the prosperity bonus for our food syndicate, and that's just a bad case of the monopoly rights system not working as intended. There's not much we can do about that. We kind of got put in a corner. Hello, Composed Rug. Welcome. We're just continuing along our Federation of the Americas game. We were New Granada, Gran Colombia. Now here we are as the Federation. But yeah, I don't think the monopoly mechanic has changed in the last week since we played. It's still the kind of the same system that's not really working as we would like it to. I give you an obligation, Germany. Would you be willing to be our defensive ally? Ooh, actually, I have an idea. Can't do that because we have free trade. What if we just give you like 590? Okay, so it auto-declined, which implies something in this treaty is kind of breaking it on their end. What is it? I actually don't know. Maybe they don't have the diplomatic influence to accept the treaty. That could be it. They might not have the diplomatic influence. So I would unfortunately have to make a completely different treaty. Which is doable, but it's just one of those things that kind of disrupts my balance. I was just hoping to kind of pull them in there and get them on our side. If that doesn't happen, that's fine. We're not going to crash out and die because of it. We'll just be moderately irritated. Oh, I'm still not used to the new build menu for some reason. Despite having a decent amount of time to play with it now, I'm still not entirely used to it. I don't know why. Oh, I haven't invented pump jacks. Belgium's is investing in our oil rig. So we have an oil rig now, not because we built it, but because the Belgians invested into it, which is really funny. Yeah, it's gonna decline a few times in the background. There's still some bugs, unfortunately, but you know, we live through the bugs, we survive through the bugs, we die to the bug anyway because there's nothing we can do. I do like how Britain is our rival now, but we still have full benefits in our opium plantation from the East India Company. So thanks, Britain. You might hate my guts, and you might be getting the dividends, but I'm still getting the prosperity of wealthy workers from it. I don't know who's really winning in that regard. I just know that we don't really have that many unemployed now. I think a lot of them are just up here at this point. And these are states we took from Mexico that aren't fully incorporated. So, I'm still not sure who's winning here. I feel like it's us. But I've been wrong about that stuff before. So we'll find out. It is indeed the advantage of letting others invest into our country. There are ups and downs to it. There's no one good, one bad side. I think the armed forces are mostly led by armed force members at this point, but we've had some historical members that came up, such as this guy here. We're actually going to fire some of them at this point. They just kind of took power because they were kind of locking out our slots, so there wasn't a whole lot we could do. And then I am actually going to disband 3 of these army regiments because we don't need that many. It's mainly, it's effectively led by just one historical guy and then a bunch of actual armed force members. The Navy's been a bit of a mess, but I think it's okay. It's fine. What I'm really enjoying is the fact that the officers have managed to actually lose some of their clout and then get it back. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something in the background. Oh, I heard the diplomatic play noise and I thought Britain was coming to cave our skull in, but no, it's just an uprising. So it's just business as usual. We don't need to worry. Unless you're being targeted by the business, in which case maybe do worry just a little. Right, the Hudson Bay Company interacts with this too. I did forget about that. Do shipyards have any investors, or could we just kind of... the Britain as a nation bought it, but that's kind of it. I think it's just a matter of building up more trade centers and making more profitable trade routes. I think that's kind of what it comes down to now. Not that our economy is doing great, but it's not doing terrible either. It's kind of in between. Once we get the pump jacks researched in a few months, we should be able to kind of blow it up, since we'll have a lot of plantations that we can bolster. And we can now build a skyscraper. So in 74 weeks, we'll have something towering over the city. It's not gonna solve any of our problems, but it will look really cool. And that's the only reason we need it. Am I role-playing this right? We build really cool things that don't help the people. It just looks really awesome. I think that's how we do this. I didn't know. I didn't check. I didn't read up. We just kind of jumped into it. Yeah, like nowhere has unemployed, which is not bad, but it's not good either. Do we make enough steam engines? No, but I'm going to enact their use anyway. As well as look into using explosives. And I know we don't have the resources, we don't have enough explosives for this. I'm just going to leverage our trade network to import explosives, because I know some of them weren't utilizing their full trade capacity. As you can see, we already don't have a market shortage for explosives again. We probably want to expand that further. Mass migration from France. Alright, I'll take it. Yeah, I think we need to heavily kind of devote our resources into explosives. I just don't know if we could mass import enough of them yet. So what we might do is invest in the newly arriving hop groups to build up a bunch of explosives facilities. Even make a bit of our own textiles, because why not? And we're just going to kind of go from there. I mean, it's getting there. 50k from the Panama Canal would help a lot. Mostly because I am over-subsidizing certain areas that we probably shouldn't do. But we're going to ignore that problem and pretend it doesn't exist. Alright. How many engines are on the world market? Russia's exporting the most. Russia's exporting the most engines. Not what I expected. But that's probably fine. How's fabric doing? I want to switch them all over, but I'm trying to see what would be best for... I mean, we'll switch opium over. You can't go wrong with that, right? What could be wrong with having more opium in the country? Nope, Google stop. Google over here with the random ping in the background. I would like to get feminism to switch over to a better rights for women, because I think we're at this point where we desperately... Uh-oh. Aha! Hang on just a moment. I don't know if it actually killed the stream there. I accidentally closed Google in the background because of that notification. Okay, we're good. We're fine. Don't mind me. I'm just casually sabotaging myself in the background. Okay, let's continue. We could maybe do another US stream with the mods. I'm not too certain. Mostly because we haven't really done a modded stream. Oh. Trade union are unhappy because they formed an anti-Germany league and got upset about it. Well, they should have joined the government then. We would have heard their opinion if they just joined the government. That's all they had to do. I am actually also going to stop subsidizing steel mills. I don't know why we're still doing that when Belgium's mass investing into them. I'm actually a little concerned that Belgium's just going to make us bankrupt if I keep doing it. Our subsidies have actually been going down over the last year too. It's mainly just kind of railways and ports now, which falls under the category of infrastructure, which I'm less concerned about. Oh man, wow, the Belgians are really just building in us though. That's... yeah. And the Germans are building up oil rigs too. We actually need fertilizer, okay. We've not been using any fertilizer, right. Kind of forgot about that small detail. Might have forgotten. We don't exactly grow our own food here. We kind of just import it or fish it. Speaking of fish, might want to build some more of those up there. I am actually a little concerned by how much GDP the British have. And again, the British did seem to not only keep the Raj, but stabilize it. But Germany's a good counterbalance if we can just get them to side with us. That's kind of why, again, I want to get rid of our puppets here so they can't oppose us at a later date. Otherwise, I'm slightly concerned that they may just stab us in the back when we go to war. Oh, Chile became a Brazil protectorate at some point. That is a little annoying. But it's not the end of the world. We're just gonna have to deal with it later. And maybe militarize some of our new territories. Just to make sure everything runs smoothly, of course. No ulterior motives or anything like that. None at all. How are we doing on explosives? Excellent. We're actually going to get coal up next with those explosives since we're working on the rotor valve engine for more automation. It's going to make them very expensive now instead, but we are working on way too many things at once. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like the US and Britain are allies too, which makes me more concerned. Yeah, they are allied with each other, so fighting either one of them means fighting both of them. But generally, I believe if you release a nation as an independent country, they start off with good relations with you along with the truce. I believe they start at amicable, but, you know, obviously things can change. They could roll random modifiers where they decide they don't like you anymore and they're going to oppose you every step of the way. Because, you know, sometimes the AI does what you want it to. Sometimes the AI wants to beat your head in even though it can't afford to. And that's just how it goes. Maybe we'll just annex you. See, the issue is the US will join, and then the US we could beat in a war. The problem is the US will join, and then Britain will join. And Britain with the US, that's enough to crush us, unless the Germans join. So we're just kind of at an impasse here where we can't expand further without the British coming in and kicking the door down. That's why we're trying to focus on the economic side of things here. Ah, no, it went from 99 to 98 because prosperity just slightly switched. We're gonna have to fire someone for this. Someone's gonna have to take the plunge for this failure to reach our target. Yeah, well, fixing the borders includes getting rid of places like Brazil, but they're currently being protected by, Britain, so there's not much we can do. And then we are going to switch the skyscraper over here to the trade nexus, because I noticed that it seems like the trade advantage is a national bonus, while the trade capacity is just for the state it's in. Because if you notice, we have 50% trade capacity, not trade capacity, trade advantage in a completely different state. But now that's starting to grow as the skyscraper gets recruitment. But our trade capacity is not... Wait, our trade capacity is changing. Hang on. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. So, chat, that kind of confirms it, what I was suspecting. The skyscraper's trade capacity and trade advantage bonus is nationwide. I believe that's not intended. I think it's meant to only affect the state it's in. But the new 1.9 system means it goes nationwide. So, enjoy that information what you will. Because if I go over to Zulia here... And we are getting bonuses from our capital state. Yep. Canal Company has hit prosperity, so now we're getting an extra 50k income. So suddenly our high levels of deficit spending are more manageable. We're still deficit spending. It's still not good. But it is somewhat stable. Oh, right. We're mass importing small arms, aren't we? Or are they owned by a different country? It's mostly just mass imports, really. Oh, no, that's right. Frederick Krupp owns them. I forgot we had given them those rights. Okay. So maybe we can't do that. I mean, we could invest into plantation economics. Oh, no, Bolivia's our protectorate right now. So they are essentially conquered. We could spend the infamy to reduce their autonomy and get this out of the way faster. But I'm kind of letting the infamy tick down and waiting for an opportunity to just blitz and kill Brazil or Argentina completely. So we're kind of holding on to our infamy there to leave us room. So we can't get the small arms because we're letting Germany invest into us, and while we could just kick the Germans out, right now, Britain and America want to kill us. Germany is an enemy of Britain right now. So that means if Britain ever, well, they're kind of like a pseudo-enemy. They actually have desirable ally on each other, but the Germans have relations with us. My idea here is to make sure that if Britain comes after us, we can get Germany to come help us. Because if Germany doesn't help us, we're dead right now. Trading Siberia to the UK, I don't know. The UK wouldn't have a high value of it, and you'd have to be focused on improving relations since you start off as rivals for them. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I view it as rather difficult. I think we might just go for the plantation company, chat. In this sense, the reason why is just to bolster the economy. Because we're not really getting investments into our plantation sectors. I mean, we are getting people to buy up things like sugar plantations, but they're not run by any companies. And the companies could buy these out, as far as I understand it. Oh, did the skyscraper do government-wide throughput? I never really noticed. It wasn't something I ever paid attention to, though, so... It could just be an issue of I never paid attention, so I never noticed. Oh. Not saying it isn't true, I just wouldn't know better. We do need to get more motor industries built up, just so we're not overtly reliant on importing engines. That is one of the things we're going to work on. We have very cheap steel thanks to the Belgians, and the Belgians would love to buy these up and make them very productive, which is something I intend to allow, due to the use we can squeeze out from it. And honestly, we're just going to start switching everything over. We're going to try to grow the economy off of this. Keyword is try. Just because we're doing it doesn't mean it will succeed. It might succeed. It might blow up in our faces. For example, if Britain's 500 ships come to blockade us, we're just going to starve to death. I'm sorry, but there's no austerity plan. We will simply starve. This government has not planned... Actually, we should get vulcanization. We do have access to rubber. This government has not planned for a wartime situation where the masses might starve. If it happens, we're just going to have to deal with it. But don't worry, the government will protect you. That's why everyone has to join the army. Let's see... Oh, you're at minus 50 now. Okay, the Germans are becoming more receptive to the idea of an alliance. Is there any goods they would like to transfer to us? They do have a lot of explosives, chat. Germany does make a ton of explosives. So, we could actually wager... Not just wager, we could pretty much straight up ask them for a lot of explosives, and it looks like they would just say yes without issue. And I think that caps out at 50, right? Yeah, so... Could just give them the obligation, but if I give them a little cash, like a small fee for their friendship. Okay, there we go. I only made it for 5 years by mistake, but we have an alliance with Germany in exchange for explosives. Brazil is still in the American market and is protected, but... Now that we have an alliance with Germany, if we go to war with them and Britain were to join, which they likely would, the Germans would probably join. Or worst case scenario, we have the Germans to back us up whenever someone comes to kick our faces in. Because yeah, Britain is willing to pretty much intervene if it means beating us up. And Mexico's got too much. Yeah, and they can't join against Mexico, so... if you join a nation, if you join the UK as a small nation, your laws in tech, at least initially, wouldn't really be impacted, but presuming they go down certain parts of their power block tree, and get things like market unification, you could end... Oh, well, yeah, if you're a protectorate, you will automatically be in their customs union. So economically, you'll be pretty heavily affected. And you could use the extra income from a larger economy to grow your universities. That could affect your technology. When it comes to laws, you would have to make arrangements with Britain for law pass commitments, which is something you could do. You could definitely do something like that and make it work. Oh, right, we're getting all those explosives from goods transfers, chat, so suddenly now explosives are very cheap again. Which is fantastic news, because now we can just throw it into the iron mines. And all will be well. Not all will be well, but we're going to pretend that it's fine, okay? We're just gonna pretend that everything's okay. And that there has not been any bad plans in the background. Yeah, as hoped, it looks like they are buying out the... Yeah, they are buying out the plantations and the coffee houses. It's just taking time because our investment pool is not strong. And it's... Well, it's also buying things overseas. We're actually struggling to find things to build in our own country, so what we might do is try to encourage global trade in places like China. And the idea here is to just get China to trade for more goods that hopefully they buy from places like us. Just increase that economic activity and get the ball rolling faster. Yeah, you could use Britain as like a defender in civil wars, as Gluck pointed out, and kind of just get them to fight your battles, so to speak, until they decide to make you a puppet or cave your head in. Look, the Brits did a lot of head caving in this century, so I have to keep mentioning it, because they did do a lot. It's not false advertising or slander, it's just history. We are still importing quite a bit of iron, actually, which surprises me, considering we have over 100 iron mines. But I'm certain it's because of all the steel mills. Yeah, wow. I mean, the vast supermajority is just steel mills. But the good news is that we now produce a lot of our own iron with the explosives helping, so... Although it's weird, we're doing fine. In fact, our GDP kind of took quite the jump in the last couple of years. And we just switched the last buildings over to steel frames! It's not a big celebration point, but it's just kind of, you know, yay, we're not using iron anymore. Well, we're not directly using iron, we're still using it to make steel. Probably should make more food industries, actually. I've been kind of letting the price go up on purpose in the vague hope that it would just push things our way. Oh well. If it works, it works. Actually, could we build... No, Germany's monopolized trade. Okay, well, that is cool. I do see our potential for exports has notably grown. We just kind of lack workers, but I forgot we got the rotary valve, so we'll just switch a few things over. Even switch the steel mills over and let them partially collapse economically, because that's, you know, that's smart, right? That's just nice of me. Gave us a couple 100,000 unemployed at best. One of the executives just died. Are there any executives for the armed forces? No, of course not. There is one for the Catholic Church, though, so... Yay, support base. And our plantation company is already going to be fully profitable, so we're about to see a lot of exports. Yeah, so this is still level 18, but now the company owns 10 of the levels. So they are buying it from the financial districts and manor houses of foreign countries. That is good to see. I'm glad that that's working. We don't need charity hospitals because we already have public hospitals, which are arguably better. In my opinion, they are better. So I would prefer to just keep using those instead. The army's larger now, if anyone was wondering. But the officers are actually struggling to maintain their clout. I think we need just more experienced troops. What I'm going to try first is to annex Peru here. It doesn't really give us much. I'm just trying to kind of wipe it out of the map. So once they're gone, there's no one who can come to Bolivia's aid by sea. Or, yeah, by sea. Unless Brazil decides to jump in. You know what? Normally I don't like it when this event keeps picking the same population or the same culture from the same country, but Spanish is actually a pretty decent choice. Oh. Right, yeah, Spain might be a bit busy right now, chat. They might not be able to leave the country just yet. There's apparently a large contingency of British soldiers there. Oh god, they've just surrounded the capital at this point. How is Spain's population doing? Yeah. Yeah, that seems right. Minus 3% per year and dropping. Yeah, I can see it. You need a lot more pops to work these areas. I keep harping about pops because it's pretty much the thing holding us back the most. Either that or getting a higher workforce ratio. One or the other would solve the problem. Problem is I don't think we're gonna get either of those solutions. There's not a lot of automation we could grab here that would help us right now. We did just enact the rotary valve engine. So what I'm thinking here is we grab feminism, try to give women more rights, even though it will curb our pop growth, because we just need to get people more jobs. Presuming corporatism also finishes, we probably go for Zeppelins then to improve the economy. Shift work could help, but a lot of our buildings aren't in the 40s to 50s range. There is a steel mill that is, because the Belgians are overbuilding it. It won't help the trade centers, unfortunately. That just kind of comes down to the companies, which apparently a lot of them have effects for. Oh yeah, the Anglo-Sicilian sulfur company's here. I totally forgot about that, yeah. Oh shoot, yeah, you know what? We really should let them buy up our sulfur. Just so we have better sulfur. Totally forgot about that. It wasn't critically important or anything. I had just forgotten that was a thing. But shift work is something we should probably get at some point. I just want to move on to our social techs to get Zeppelins. Zeppelins do give the market access price impact. And that pretty much always improves your economy. Brazilian mass migration? Why would they want to leave our great country? I suppose they don't really make up that much of the population anyway. Shame to see them go, though. We have so many greener grass campaigns. Oh, do we need that road maintenance in Panama at this point? No? I'm just gonna rip that out then. And in 3 years, we'll be selling the world more addicting coffee. It's technically not more addicting, but pops tend to buy it up more, so I'm just gonna call it that. It's woefully inaccurate to what's actually happening. But it'll be fine. Oh yeah, there we go. Now they own all 18 levels of this coffee plantation. Alright. Very nice. I see our trade... We're not fully utilizing all of our trade capacity, but hopefully we will soon. Oh yes, fun fact, chat. If you're using craft paper in the skyscraper, that does give it throughput bonus. So that throughput bonus is then giving us even more trade capacity and trade advantage. Only by 3%, but it is good. Oh yeah, true. Breaking up China and making friends out of the pieces could work. But since this China has already agreed to give us investment rights, in fact, I need to go for an extension of the treaty. There we go. I don't see much reason to kind of break them apart when we already have rights to build into them en masse. Oh, they've finally gotten around to... You know what? That's an accomplishment. Britain now sees us as a rival, chat. They finally view us as a worthwhile opponent. Oh, I forgot we had 2 different trees of Belgium. That's funny. So... I see some trade suddenly collapse because this suddenly went very negative. I assume that has something to do with the steel being overly reliant for our country, which isn't really anything I can change. It's just going to be there. But we will look into mass rubber plantation development. We can't afford all of this, and I think a lot of it will fail, but I'm also certain that some of the AI are actually using it right now. So we're going to at least try to put it to use. In fact, all of it's exported, so maybe we should actually just start using it now. That way we're at least making even better precision tools with rubber. I wouldn't call Qing our economic colony, per se, but they allow us to invest into them, which is nice for us. It's just an extra advantage bit that we have whenever we run out of pops in our own country, but we have hit a standard of living average of 20. Shift work spread to us anyway. This is a modified standard of living of 20, but I still take it as an accomplishment, so... we are going to just roll with it. We're just going to quietly appoint some local governors as well, just to reduce various liberty desires. Mostly trying to get their attitudes to change loyal so they're in easy annexation. Though at this rate, I might just invade Brazil. I'm kind of waiting for Britain to be busy with something to where they can't just walk on over. Because until that happens, they literally could just walk on over. Ah, Carabinos from the United States to Ecuador. I mean, that's not bad. It's not going to be big either, but it's technically more pops than what we had. Ah, you know how I said we'd be waiting for England to get busy? Yes, it appears they became a pariah, so everyone's going to hate them now. Yeah, that, you know what? We can work with that. We can definitely work with that. So, if they're going to be busy now, we could actually make the rest of Brazil a protectorate. Belgium might join that in that case, though. It's just, well, Belgium might join regardless. Maybe we need to make a quick agreement with Belgium. We already have a defense pact with them, actually. I need to renegotiate. I can't renegotiate it. Okay. What if we invade Paraguay? Would Brazil join to stop us? Probably not, but maybe this is a good time to just get Paraguay off the map now that I think about it. Either that or the full annexation of Argentina. How much does it cost to take both states? Over 26, so we just do this. Yeah, we'll remove Paraguay. I want to go after Brazil, but it's still a bit touchy. Although, having the Belgians stop investing in us wouldn't be the worst, honestly. We could afford it at this point. But I guess we get rid of Paraguay first, just incorporate its population and its state here. And apparently all of its bananas. Biggest economic activity is bananas. Not particularly valuable, but okay. Oh, the okay, now I'm a little confused. The Russians are actually importing rubber. And are exporting 11,000 paper. What are you using all this rubber for? Tools, okay. Okay, so Russia has machined tools. It is the 1890s. That's not too surprising, I guess. What's really surprising, though, is that apparently they have a mass exportation of paper. And apparently they own a lot of coal mines, too. What is their GDP? Their GDP actually jumped up a lot in the last couple of years. Actually, wow. AI's not doing too bad for the AI. We probably won't be able to get Qing into our power block. They're extremely resistant, even with lots of agreements, just because their leverage factor is very high. They have a lot of modifiers that increase it as well, which doesn't help. So as much as I want to say it's something we can try, the truth of the matter is that we generally won't be able to. Just because they're really big and isolationist for the most part, so that makes it hard to pull them in. They apparently import a lot of glass, so that's cool. Is this just modifiers, or no, it's just the state being rude? Oh yeah, we finally got out of the, finally got out of that whole slavery thing at some point, or at least the reconciliation event is finally finished and walked away. New general ruler. Cool. Armed forces are kind of starting to slip, though. I don't like that. We might need to appoint new people. Probably because the guy who was in charge just died, so, you know, there's that. There we go. They're back to 25% now. Everything's been restored. It's all as it should be now. I want to get rid of those banana plantations. Liberate a state and become friends. We do have a navy. It's, you know, 100-ish ships. I want to expand it with a second one, but we just don't really have... It keeps going back to the same story, honestly. We just don't really have the pops for it. We can try to build some more ships, but we're kind of just waiting around twiddling our thumbs at this point. There's not much more we can do. Definitely happy to answer any additional questions you guys have, though. I do see our finances have recovered, at least. They're mostly stable, but apparently there's a lot of uncollected revenue that we really should get around to collecting again. I would say this is a pretty good run, though, overall. We've used the investments fairly well. We don't own all of Latin America, but we own a great deal of it. We're undisputably the strongest power in Latin America, at least. I'll take that risk. Do think it is time to just kind of pop a few of these in many states at once. All right, Peru has agreed to our annexation demands, so the map now looks slightly smoother. Yeah, we might replace some of the charters. It is still working to increase prices under monopolies, so that does still help. We're just having an issue where German food has kind of bought it all up, huh? I mean, they're giving us prestige food at least, so it's not the end of the world. It's just an annoyed world, but, well, not the end. Unsurprisingly, chat, we import a lot of grain. Who would have seen this coming? We also have a lot of trade advantage, actually. Wow. How's that going for exports? Probably not great. I mean, it's made it to where we're the sole exporter of steel. We are the sole exporter of steel, it looks like, chat, which is pretty nice. Where is steel? Yeah, the Spanish export a little bit, but we basically export all the steel. So we at least have some global monopolies going on still. Not exactly what we were looking for, but, you know, it works. It's something that functions, that we have a grip on. Thought I converted all these here. I guess I didn't. Sorry about that, chat. Thought we had flipped all that over there. Alright, well, let's just keep it moving. We could maybe lower taxes to medium, but I'm a little hesitant to do that. I mean, it would improve our standard of living further and maybe attract more pops as the world evolves into chaos, but we might just use it to fund the army. Who doesn't love a strong army? Speaking of which, we could steal a fifth of Mexico's GDP. We do actually need more domestic glass production, and they seem to have a lot of German investment for that exact thing. But it's hard to decide. We're really kind of entering that period point of the game where there isn't too much we can do because we're kind of running out of our own pop. So I might just start mass investing into Britain and, or not Britain, in Qing in Germany here. It doesn't help us too much, but it lets us pour the points somewhere and keeps the economy going. Doesn't make it any better, just it's something we can do. See, Cuba's having a civil war. Oh, I'm sorry, Haiti is having a civil war. I misread that there. I would not mind changing us to a corporate state if the interest group supported it, just for the extra slot, but they're not. Oh! Germany's just straight up invading Russia. Since we are allies, they could end up calling us into this. Germany might have actually made a few enemies. Britain's also still a pariah, which is funny. Right? Mexico, is Mexico? No, Mexico's pretty independent. You know what? If they're all getting busy, we could very much seize Mexico City then. As well as it's a neighboring state or two, just to make the borders look nice. Yeah, because Britain won't join, and now they're all busy in Europe. No one else can really jump in. Oh, California and Texas still haven't been taken, huh? It would look so awful, chat, but I kind of want to seize California because it tends to be a pretty good state. But that might be jumping the gun there. It would get us 12 gold mines, though. Honestly, I think seizing Mexico City and California is our way to go. And that pops us to 93 infamy, so enough to make everyone angry at us. And apparently make the British antagonistic, which is a little concerning. But the Mexican army is not strong enough to beat our army on the field of battle. So if it does come to a war, we do just win it. It'll just take time. Good news is that now that we have the actual land route all congenital and connected, we shouldn't suffer that bug that we suffered last time that kind of murdered our army twice in a row. Because that was a really unfortunate bug. Did not enjoy that one. I don't want to do any other war goals because they might back down if I pop another war goal on, and that would be really unfortunate. If they did back down. So, we're not going to give them a reason to back down. Americanos. Making the army even stronger is all well and good. We just have to watch our finances as well. But seeing how a war in Europe has begun with Germany trying to invade Russia for land, we'll see how it goes. Venezuela is trying to get independence. We might just do a war to knock them out, honestly. But yeah, the Mexicans can't really win this war. Our army is just better and significantly larger by comparison at the start. It'll look weird to have California, but we'll at least make sure the Americans don't get it and we can utilize it ourselves. Plus, it's still technically a part of the Americas. It's just really far north. So it might be slightly questionable, but, you know, just don't question it. And it'll be fine. All you have to do. God, we have no pops. I'm really feeling the lack of pops. Ah, and now Qing is monopolized. What is up with everyone monopolizing their trade centers? Right, well... I guess we just deal with it then. I don't even know if they have infrastructure for that in Qing. Honestly, if they don't, it's their problem to deal with. I'm just getting money out of it, or trying to. Yeah, see, the army's doing well. At least against Mexico. We've almost got reserve coffee, so that might be nice for our coffee exports. I don't know how much we're exporting coffee-wise. Not that much. It is over 1,000 though, so we're getting somewhere with it. Oh, the Confederacy's in a war? No, the Americans are in a war. Ah, the Americans are actually in a war against the British. That's fantastic. That means they are no longer friendly with each other for the moment. That doesn't guarantee they won't both fight us together in the future. It just means that we don't have to worry about them teaming up at the moment. Yeah. Oh, wow, they must have rolled a lot of negatives here to lose this war. Oh, no, I see what happened. They, didn't fully recover their morale when they went to the next fight, so they just kind of lost automatically. Hopefully most of these casualties are wounds. They are, but the dead is kind of mounting, too. There is no coffee input option, unfortunately. There is one for meat, and obviously one for wine. Then there is the one for groceries, but, you know, oh well. We work with the cards we've been given. Actually, I'm gonna... Let me hold the offensive really quick, chat, because it seems like the armies are kind of excessively pushing even though they don't have the organization for it, and they're starting to lose battles. They have the strength to win, but it looks like they're kind of fighting with only a 2/3 of their organization, and that's causing them to lose the fight because they don't actually have the organization they need to win it. Because that tends to give a hefty nerf to your combat potential. Otherwise, this war would be over already. And we'll raise conscripts just to make sure nothing bad happens. The luxurious supplies. That one requires military statistics, which we could queue up for after Zeppelins. It's not too high on the list. Oh no, Belgium withdrew from our treaty. But they're still genial. Oh, they withdrew from a different treaty. Never mind. They're still investing in us. We're still getting their money. Ah, there we go. The enemy rolled a blunder. So that just cost them a good deal of their remaining troops. Between that and conscription, this war is as good as done now. And Germany won its little war, so it got a few states. Good for them. Oh, 5 million GDP right there. Whatever works. Do need more engines. We always need more groceries. I don't think we're ever going to have enough groceries just because we'll keep growing and we'll start to export them. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we are exporting them. We're importing 4,000 grain and counting, mostly from Qing. Wait, so Qing is exporting the grain with the trade centers that we built before they closed us off. They are. Cool. I like it. Okay, we'll just stop pushing, because Mexico is just going to teeter towards surrender now. Alright, that's Mexico City done. We'll incorporate California, which thankfully already has a port. Of course, we'll use explosives here. And this new gold mine we've gained, chat, is already giving us over 13k in minting. It's not a huge boost, but it kind of means the war is already paying for itself. Before the dust is actually even settled. That being said, it does have a market access issue, and I presume that's partially spurred on by overconstruction, which the AI is so fond of doing. And hey, It's not too bad a game. Hopefully you're all having a good day too, at whichever part of the world you're in. Wherever that may be. Okay, is there anything we can do for women's rights? Probably not. We still have... I forgot, we still have child labor allowed because we haven't gotten anyone in power that would actually help us deal with that. So we don't even have, like, the efficient literacy rate being really high. We're just kind of stuck where we are, I guess. We don't even have people who want change. It's just more of the same. Which I find amusing, but, yeah. Oh, revolution in Japan. Proletarian revolt. Change the socialist revolt. Our reinvestment has exceeded 200k at least, so... Some good news, the companies are slowly getting more revenue. Although they're not anywhere near the top 5. Our new plantation company's already exceeded 100k. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. They just need more workers, which is not going to happen. Not anytime soon, at least. Yeah, our oil is mostly exported for now. True, the VAT would probably go below the 18% threshold, but who knows. We could get regulatory bodies with the DeVout at least. That'll help cut down on some casualties from work. It won't do much, but it'll turn work to rule off when it comes to the trade unions. That will at least neuter the damage they're causing at our construction speed. Doesn't really solve any of our issues, but yeah. Oh, hey, we have a socialist movement now. That's cool. Not a strong one, right? Ah, 9%. It's relevant. But I don't think this journal entry will succeed. It usually fails these days. No, I really don't want to do charity hospitals. I feel like... I genuinely think charity hospitals are a bad law. Because what's going to happen is we'll pass it, and the level 4 healthcare system will drop to level 2, so we only get minus 6% mortality, instead of minus 20% mortality. And that mortality is helping our population grow by a fair bit. I'll go find some laborers here for you. They're quite literally reducing this by 20%. They're effectively accounting for pollution and multiple laws, preventing those from having any effect. Otherwise, they'd be having quite the effect. Do you see our subventions have kind of gone up, but so have subsidies? Oh wow, we're really subsidizing that glassworks. Why is that? We shouldn't need to be subsidizing glassworks. They should be fine. I mean, we needed to subsidize. Oh, we got the Mexican glassworks. I see. I was trying to figure out where all our money was suddenly going. Doesn't fully explain it, but it gives me a partial explanation. Goodness. Okay. Sorry, I feel a little unfocused today. Might just be because there isn't too much more for us to do except wait out the game. That's why I keep kind of bouncing over and just start investing into Ching over here. In fact, how's their paper doing? I haven't really bought all of it up, I see. We are buying up plantations that they own. Oh, hey, Germany has lifted the ban. And by the ban, I mean they've lifted the monopoly on trade centers. So we're going to just mass build a godload of trade centers in Germany to greatly increase its imports and exports in the hopes that it means they import more stuff from us. They get to deal with any infrastructure issues that arise from this. I'm not paid to deal with that. If all their pops decide to start working in trade centers with no infrastructure, that's, you know, Germany's just gonna have to figure that out, I guess. Actually, they've almost surpassed Britain's GDP. I'm surprised. Trade really goes hard in this game. Very much am a fan of it. The armed forces are still powerful, and we're almost in the 1900s. We haven't even had a single coup yet. Because, you know, if the army's already in power, they're not going to coup themselves. At least in theory, they're not gonna. Poor Mexico. I just find it really amusing, personally. Wait, I forgot to do state actions for California, so it wasn't even switched over. We actually make way too much cotton now. The vast supermajority of our fabric is exported. Apparently, it's Britain who imports it. I kind of want to end the rivalry with Britain, but on the other hand, oh no, I guess we could just end it and see if that gets them off our tail a little. I don't think it will. Oh. I saw South German mass migration and then realized it was from France, so there's not really that many of them. That kind of sucks. Gotta love watching America get beaten up. Wow, they both have several 100,000 dead. Yeesh. That's certainly not a war that's going to end anytime soon. Oh, they have fun with that. Hopefully once regulatory bodies passes, we'll be able to grow a little faster because of it. What kind of colonization do we have? Resettlement? I see, okay. Alright. What? Oh, Chile got made into a puppet. I was very confused for a minute there. Was very confused. Oh, see, this only works if they give in immediately, and if they don't, then Britain joins. Britain probably joins. Right? What? Oh, they're having a trade union issue. That makes sense. How's our private investment pool doing? It has actually kind of fallen. I'm not surprised that reinvestment numbers have fallen a bit. Major wars tend to have that effect, plus a sudden expansion to the global trade system, which we are investing in right now in Germany. So that might be causing some unexpected side effects and various issues. Oh, let's go work on our next company and just get towards macroeconomics here. Just kind of buff the army a little. There we go. I believe... Yes, we can switch to advanced tactics training. And although it no longer says it, advanced tactics training will convert some soldiers into officers. So now we have 0.36% of the population as officers, and the cloud is starting to grow as they regain their standard of living from the sudden influx of soldiers. They're not too powerful, but they're as strong as our capitalists, who own a bunch of buildings. Ooh, proletariat revolt. I would love to back it if it wasn't upset with us. I mean, who knows? Maybe we back them anyway, chat. Solely because it means they no longer actually. Wow. The Americans aren't even interested in joining because of the ongoing conflicts they're in. So Brazil might actually get couped by a proletariat revolt that rips it out of the American sphere of influence. And once it's ripped out of the American sphere of influence, chat, we can just move in for the kill. Because they'll no longer be in the Wall Street Pact, which means the Americans will have less incentive to protect them. I really wish we had gotten more of our own power block stuff going, but once we get level 2 food standardization, we could at least get a little more pop growth. This is not... On the population front, we have not done great, but we are the 8th largest as far as population is concerned. So we're not the best, but we're not behind either. We're kind of just here, really. So I suppose it could be a lot worse. Oh. Sorry, all the states just changed there because all the trade systems just fluctuated, so let me remove that for now. I'll kind of leave that where it is. Can I... Ooh! Hang on, chat. Let's try to get trade privileges here with... Qing. No? Oh, I guess when it's at the exact... Oh, no, that's right. They don't like to renegotiate when you have an obligation given to them. That's right. I forgot about that detail. They tend to shy away from renegotiation under those circumstances. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. That's my bad. Do I owe you an obligation in this treaty? No. So maybe we could negotiate for trade privileges and military assistance? That should go over, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Hopefully they'll fix some of the issues with that soon. Oh! Brazilian mass migration from Brazil, chat. But I'm trying to get our relative advantage for grain up from the countries that are exporting it, because I noticed that the places getting the better importation is ironically Britain. So if we can improve our advantage, we might be able to undercut them from it. But the biggest exporter is Qing, which we need to work on. Right. Treaty ports. So if we go here, it's just a -2. I could do goods transfers, I guess. Not that I particularly want to, but it is an option that we have on the table. Anything they would want from our market? I mean, there's engines, but we need engines. No, that's kind of it. What about money? Qing is usually broke. Okay. I'm basically going to pay them 3.3k for trade rights. Yep, there we go. So we can get their grain. Now if we go back to that same trade center chat, we have 9% relative advantage. Oh, nope, sorry, there we go. We have 28% relative advantage, which is going to make the grain cheaper for us. But it also now caused places like the Midlands and West Country, which were at positive trade advantage, they are now at negative trade advantage. So not only are we paying less for the grain, we actually made it to where the British are paying more. Good old diplomacy. It might affect their trade capabilities a little bit. It might do nothing, but I'm just glad to secure a endless source of grain so we don't starve to death. It'll also make it easier for us to export too. Presuming they're actually buying all of that, that might not be. Oh, it's so close to its prosperity bonus, it just needs more buildings at this point. Or, you know, the guy in charge could be popular and we wouldn't have this issue, but... Let's not talk about that, I guess. We'll talk about something else. We We certainly can't just go blaming the guy who's responsible for... Oh! Apparently the Italian Orchards Inc. was expanded to include sugar. So apparently someone was buying out our sugar. That's fine, we're just making coffee really expensive. So I don't particularly care too much, I just didn't realize we had that going on. We don't have any unemployed, do we? We have some. Where's the biggest group of peasants? Okay. I don't think I understand, game. You're telling me I've got 108,000 peasants, but then you're not showing them in the list. I'm a little confused. Is the game okay? I don't think the game's okay. I'm just going to operate in the assumption that we don't have peasants then. Except for there, apparently. They do exist there. It just works, I guess. We could give them access to livestock farms. I don't know if that would work very well. But it's not a terrible idea. If I switch consumption taxes around a little. Just tax opium. We could grant them the livestock ranches, and we'll see if they buy them up and if that helps at all. Because they might not even buy them. Speaking of which, I'm going to make sure that they're all running on more efficient production methods to make them more viable. But I don't know if they're even going to buy any of them up. We'll have to wait a few months. That's assuming they're not already bought up by a different company. I do enjoy the Belgian investments, though. Yeah, the American economy is just collapsing now. They've lost over 30 million thanks to the war with the British. Turns out going to war against the Empire that has the best navy doesn't work well for trade. Apparently, we're also importing a lot of paper relative to potential exports. Apparently, a lot of that is here in Mexico. Huh. I mean, I don't particularly mind, but considering we have our own paper companies, I'd like to get those off the ground instead. Though I guess it doesn't matter too much. As long as the economy keeps growing and we keep doing better. Our politicians are very moderate, though, I've noticed. They haven't really moved their needles at all, so to speak. I don't think they have at any point, actually. And if they have, it's been to negligible degrees. So the good news is that our political system is stable, but the bad news is that our political system is stable. Which means trying to enact change and reform beyond what we've already done is, kind of just not gonna happen. We have poor laws, don't we? Poor laws are good enough for me. There's no need to antagonize the industrialists by changing it. We could if we found it fun to do, but I don't think we should. I don't think it'd be very productive in the long run. '70 infamy. What about just taking their capital state? Oh, this is only 25% now. Where is the other chunks? Just right here with groceries. Let's see. Oh, they have a lot of unemployed now. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's just see the state, then. This is actually still the valuable state. It just lost its pops. Dang, Britain would still join despite the new government? I guess, yeah, it's just because Britain really dislikes us. Which is par for the course, honestly. It's not as if we couldn't see that coming. Could we just annex? Ah, see, they would join. Even though they're genial to both sides. I see. That's a really high sympathy score. We don't need to annex Venezuela. It's just, it looks weird on the map, and I don't like it. Sorry, how much infamy? 54. So 54 for now. I think I might just wait and then we'll just annex Argentina here next. I think that's where we're sitting at right now. Ooh, we might be able to remove the Catholic Church leader here if the gamble goes wrong. The industrialists are led by someone questionable. Yeah, have him removed, and a new moderate takes power. That is not where my intentions lied, but he is a historical character, so I guess we kind of sleptwalked into that one. Oh my, that's a, I mean, that revolt will be destroyed by the British because the British have over 700 battalions now. And apparently the Germans allegedly have more. The AI is just in an arms race at this point. Speaking of which, we're at what, 1.39? Pop that on. That gave us 0.1 pop growth relative to where we're at right now. Now it's more pops than we'd otherwise have. Trade unions back to being upset because of the appeasement of lobbies. But I don't think we particularly care at this point. Oh, they are buying livestock branches. Cool. Alright, I guess there are some profitable ones out there. They're maxed at staff levels. They just either need their popularity, their guy to get better, which I can't do anything about, or just get better productivity relative to similar buildings. Germany withdrew from our other treaty. I don't remember what it was about, but I don't really care then. It probably wasn't anything too important. Oh, with modifiers, the average upper strata are now opulent. The armed forces are still powerful. We get a new company and Dixie mass migration. Normally, I'd be very happy to see that, but I get the feeling there's not a lot of Dixie in the country. There's probably still some, but I feel like there just isn't as much as there was before. So, nope, that is another company for us from the very definitely many choices we have that are not limited whatsoever. Do you have the Peruvian Amazon company? Not that increasing the mortality from rubber industry employees is something I want. But it is an option we have if we want to just increase rubber exports, which we do mainly export our rubber. And apparently Germany is the biggest importer of said rubber. So good news, our rubber production is actually off to a fantastic start, I suppose. It's actually, I'm actually willing to take suggestions on different companies based on the ones we actually have access to. There's always the high-grade explosives one. The AI tends to not do that. So it'd be pretty easy to get investments for that one. Yeah, that's true. The generic one does give infrastructure. If we could get a region in Nigeria and build a couple rubber plantations, we could get the John Holton Company, which buffs all of our plantations. I would prefer that one, but I don't think anyone's about to sell its territory over here anytime soon. Just very curious here. If we wanted something like that, we would have had to have done an invasion a long while ago. I mean, if we took Danish Togo... Oh, right, Americans, of course. Apparently the French rivaled us at some point, didn't he? Oh, right, we did go to war with the French, didn't we? Yeah, I remember now. I remember now. We did have a war with the French. Okay, so we're probably not going to get that then. Yeah, I guess at that point we would just do the Americano forestries. We don't really have that many wood logging camps from the get, but The extra infrastructure is just, it's nice, it's free. It's also not more mortality, which we don't want at all. I think we'll just go ahead and take it. We'll see what happens. North Italian from Tuscany. Probably from all of Italy, but I won't complain either. It might entice them to come on over. Keyword is might. It might also do nothing. Hey, 1.5%. We're getting somewhere. I don't think you could do this with every country, but you can definitely keep the armed forces powerful all game as one of the Latin America countries with their special journal entry. If you don't have the journal entry, the officer's clout is much lower compared to what we have it at. But otherwise, yeah. Definitely falls under the category of doable for certain nations. Alright, we're just gonna buff up trade a little more now and get some more people in China to have jobs. Which seems to be working very well for China. Sort of. I don't know, I'm just guessing really based on arbitrary numbers. I don't think a lot of them do, but let me check. Only about 4% of the capitalists align with the armed forces. It's very difficult to get that number high, even with the right laws. And this is still not reaching prosperity. At this point, it's because the guy leading them isn't popular. He's actually pretty unpopular, I should say. And the executives are kind of all over the place, I'm noticing. Hey, gantry cranes. It only took us till the literal 1900s to unlock it. Which I wouldn't say is a good thing, but we do have it now, and we may as well make the most of it. I just gotta go quiet for a moment here while I focus on a lot of things. Forgot to switch that over to mutual funds. Oh boy. Oh, we'll see how many steamers. Oh, right, the ports need to be switched over too, don't they? There we go. We now have coal ports, which will have less laborers and more machinists. The machinists are paid more, so that'll be good. Hey, there we go. Investment's ticking upwards more. It's mainly our companies, but the rubber plantations are up there. In fact, that reminds me, I forgot to put the rubber plantations up for buying, so there's actually a lot of rubber plantations they haven't been able to buy yet, even though they probably would otherwise. Yeah, this has been fun. I've been enjoying this playthrough. It's kind of fun to watch and see what the AI does too. And there's definitely people who could do this better than I have. But I would still call this a good run after our first hiccup. We had to restart because of said hiccup, but after that, it hasn't been so bad. Yeah, at this point, now Belgium won't join, but now Britain will join, and Britain... Yeah, I mean, our Navy might be able to actually contend with them, finally. Keyword is maybe. I don't think they'd actually be able to contend with them, but I'm kind of hoping they can. Oh, I built frigates in this. How do you have a monitor? I don't even have access to monitors. Really should get those, actually. Monitors. Oh, they're being tech spread to us, so that doesn't matter. Alright then, game. Thanks for to the free units, I suppose. We can get macroeconomics till 1907, but that'll increase our market access price impact by another 5%. We are in the top 4 for GDP now, so we are very much catching up to the other great powers. In some cases, we've actually surpassed them. Not so much population-wise, that's going to be a lot harder. But at least some of our companies are doing very well for themselves. Even if there's no sugar to buy up, apparently. I do see that we're exporting more groceries, though, and more fabric, as well as importing more grain. Which is all well and good, it just means the trade system is doing its job. Yeah. Trying to think of something to talk about while we're letting the game kind of tick by, because the only other downside to getting this late into the game is it does start to slow down, performance-wise. And there really isn't much I can do that I haven't already done to improve it, where it's just something we have to deal with. I do hope that one day they are able to improve performance further, but I don't know if they ever will be able to. I think it's a curse that Paradox games just suffer from because of the amount of things going on in their games. But, oh wow, everything just went red. What happened? The economy fine? Are we okay? I mean, the economy seems fine. I saw all of our companies go red on their productivity all of a sudden. Someone must have switched over their buildings production-wise. Oh, Turkey formed. Huh. Actual Turkish Republic. Neat. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. It kind of scared me a little. But I'm just going to assume that everything's okay. That there's definitely nothing wrong at all. Definitely nothing wrong. Yeah. Yeah, there probably is something wrong, but it doesn't seem to be anything major. It's just kind of floundering a little. More of a nuisance at best. Oh wow, the peasants are gone here now. They just kind of get thrown into buildings. So there's a fair number of them here, and now they're just not. I mean, it's alright if they just got new jobs, and that's why, but it's definitely strange for them to just vanish. Ooh, export for grain, yeah. I'd like to build up more parts of Qing that want to export grain. It's easier on me. A lot of areas in Germany with trade potential too. Problem is just some of their areas lack pops. A lot of them do, actually. A lot of them lack pops. But that's no matter. Oh, we got our prosperity bonus from the forestry company, so that's a little more infrastructure for us for free. It's really weird that the average productivity of all our buildings suddenly dropped. Someone must have changed over their technology. Or the game's giving me wrong information. Oh, I see. It's the food industries in Germany. It must have been Germany's economy that had a weird hiccup. They're not at war or anything, so I can't think of what it would be. Oh well. I don't know what it is, but everything's running fine on our end, at least. No terrible economic crashes here. He says, probably not knowing what's over the horizon. $57.7, so we'd have to go to 43 or less. One of our politicians passed away. A little unfortunate, but it happens. I am going to completely ignore the current circumstances in China and just build up all the logging camps. With a complete and total disregard for the infrastructure system there. I'm just trying to find a place to throw everything in for our construction so it doesn't die on us here. Germany's not trying to massacre our groceries company. It's just for some reason all of our companies went red on productivity and now it's fine again. So something clearly happened. I don't know what, but now it looks like it's fine again. So we're just gonna ignore it and hope we don't need to come back to it at a later date. But we will see if we actually do. I'm gonna put some coffee plantations down too. We'll see if anyone actually mass migrates to work them, though. We really just have a population issue. A lot of our pops are focused in one area too, which probably doesn't help. In fact, I think this is the one area that the greener grass campaign could stop being done in. And we'll do it elsewhere instead. Really are having to conquer for more pops still. Letting the infamy drop before we go after someone like Brazil or Argentina. But thankfully, we did just get a technology that dropped it by 25%. That doesn't guarantee things will go well, it just kind of reduces the pain, so to speak. Would like to make Brazil a protectorate. They're insignificant, wait. Oh, but annexing is 123 points. God, that's a lot. Yikes. Well, no matter. I'm just at the point where I want to map paint, make it look better, but I'm a little surprised at how well the AI is doing economically to the point where it's affording big armies. But I think it just goes to show how well the trade system works now that it actually helps the AI do better. Also a little concerned by the fact that we are extremely dependent on grain imports to survive, but we probably won't come to regret that, right? Does mean if Britain were to mass blockade us, though, we would starve to death. There's not much of a way around that aside from goods transfer, but they might intervene with that too, I think, with blockades. I haven't really tried, so I wouldn't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. Wood is one of our largest exports now. I assume that's just Ching buying it all, who's probably going to start buying less now that we're helping to build up all their login camps down there. Okay, that's good. Let's kind of get that upgraded then. Now that we can actually afford some more. Just trying to think of a way to combat the British. Not that I think we can, really just building up a defensive force to make sure Britain can't come in to slaughter us. Even though we're allied to the Germans, Britain really does rule the waves. And short of building up our own navy, there's not much we can do about it, so. More funding for the navy, even if it's not wise. And more money to the construction sectors too, because Why not? Might as well. A forced wargle to nationalize everything would mean going to war against Germany, and due to Germany's strength, one, they would probably kill us. That's a lot of 30, that's 30k. They're probably in trench warfare. They are. More importantly, two, our alliance with Germany is probably the only reason why Britain hasn't declared war on us. So we're kind of in a cold war with Britain right now, where if we go to war at all, this is going to get really bad really fast. After macroeconomics finishes, we are going to go for trench works, though. And we are building up more of the army, at least. It's just a never-ending balancing act. Only good news is that Britain made an enemy out of a lot of people. So we probably can find friends. Wow. Are we sure this isn't a player? 147 infamy. At this point, Britain has stopped caring about infamy. It's just going. I think 147 is the highest infamy score I've seen for the AI. Actually gonna take a very quick screenshot of that one because that is funny to me. Actually could... Who would join our cut down to size? Could we actually sway people for this? Probably not. Two of them, yeah. Germany wouldn't join. The US hates us. Well, Germany can't join is what I should say, but maybe we can get them both together and then we can just die to the massive army anyway. Right? They will sometimes just go off the rails, and it looks like that's happening now with the British. We're apparently exporting almost 30,000 opium and almost 20,000 tea. So that's pretty cool. How reliant are they on the fabric imports, actually? I'm a little curious. They make about half of what they need and import the rest. That's a decent balance. And the Germans just have so much investment income and access to our own investment pool. They're just kind of buying up all the food industries, which, yeah, that's kind of made our food company suffer and never hit prosperity. So we probably missed out on a couple million pops. But I think it's also really funny to see how far they've gone. Let's see, where are our rubber plantations, or at least some of them? Oh, good, they have bought all these up. I was wondering. And we just mainly export all the rubber we get. We don't really use it. We do use it, just not a lot of it. I actually have way too many subventions for... Am I importing too many motors? I think I am. We are mostly importing motors, yeah. I probably don't need to be doing subventions for it, though, but... I might keep it on anyway, just so it's easy to get the imports done. Instead of having a big back and forth where we have not enough and then we have too many. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'd love to pull the industrialists into power, but they don't really offer us anything except commercialized agriculture. Otherwise, they don't really change anything in a way that benefits us. And we're not really getting the agitators we need in order to... You know what? I'm just a little curious. I can't because you're in power. Okay. I'm just going to try something really quick. Chat, give me just a minute. He's just a Democrat now. Doesn't really work because we're kind of sticking with oligarchy, so... Oh well, we just kind of upset the Catholic Church for no reason. Oh, but apparently that got the corporatist movement going. I don't know if what we did was the trigger for it, but at least the corporatists are around. Not sure how well they're gonna do, or how useful they'll be. The socialist movement kind of ended the same way. But we'll find out. Border crossing. Sure, why not? I love a good border crossing. I don't know if it actually does anything, and I don't know if the British will even care. Their infamy is so high. It probably won't matter. Oh, one of our admirals died. Well, that's no good. Oh, it's the main admiral, too. Oh, boy. That's definitely not good. What about the other armed forces here? 3 main armies. You could use a few armed forces. I don't know what their political ideologies are. I didn't bother checking. Democrats, authoritarians. They've got quite the collective mix going on over here, honestly. Which I'm fine with. We can work with it, no problem. All right. Yeah, just kind of using the trade system at this point to let the economy grow over time as we please. Of course, we should probably be putting more of our pops into other buildings, but these buildings don't take up too many. We're just in that perpetually endless cycle where we can't get it any better without a higher workforce ratio or more pops, so this is just something we're going to be stuck with. Bourgeoisie are led by a reformer chat. That means we can actually try to end child labor. Keyword is try, because the industrialists will oppose it. Oh, you're anti-American? Oh, I can embargo them then. There we go. Got a trade union solidarity too for the workforce ratio, so we'll see if we can explode the economy a little bit here. I would like to get the mines to use railways. The problem is just we just seem to have this perpetual issue where transportation is constantly expensive in the states where it matters. And then the states where we don't have the mines, they're just, they don't have any transportation demand. So we're having this really weird issue where either we can do it, but there's nothing around to use it, or we can't. But honestly, I'm just gonna flip them all over, and we'll just see what happens. Yep, several areas with the railway shortage, I figured. Figured as much. Some areas are just having issues outright. I think areas suffering most issues either don't have any of the infrastructure or it's a completely different issue. Yeah, but some of them have a massive cost, and it's because of the populations themselves. In fact, apparently this is where one of our companies is set up in Guatemala. Huh. It gave us... Oh, wow. I guess there were already jobs for them to take, because we have almost no one employed again already. I think about 50,000 total. We can't afford to switch both the mines and the plantations over right now, unfortunately. We're already having areas in a shortage because of... I mean, maybe we could. Let me look at this really quick. I might have an idea. It's a little risky. It's gonna hurt. But if I incorporate your idea with the railways... Then we're gonna go to the urban centers, and where do they go? And we're gonna switch them to public trams. That will cause them to use engines to make more transportation, but it will also take some jobs away. Okay, that combined, plus maybe some people getting fired because suddenly they can't afford it, gets us to about 800,000 pops that can get new jobs. The problem is a lot of areas need transportation now, and it might be a bit of a struggle to figure out all the areas that need it. Although, hopefully this is going to lead to some urban centers to just hire new cops, and the price will come down anyway. Probably won't, but there's at least one area where it will work. I think for a lot of them, they just don't have the infrastructure to begin with. Germany might pull us into a big war here. I would like to declare neutrality, but the problem is that since we have an alliance, doing that would actually cause us to just get murdered. Could ask them to give us French Niger. Not perfect, but it gets us a foothold in the African continent. Plus, the French aren't the most important thing in the world to us. Oh, they actually have the John Holton Company, too. Wow. Alright, then. Yeah, might as well. Could end up losing this war, though, but I guess we'll see, won't we? Oh, we are going to lose the Belgian investment, but honestly, I guess that's fine. They've been... Oh, they were going to build a bunch of railways, though. But the alternative is losing the German investment, so, yeah. Either way, we were going to lose something. We're just kind of making our choice and living with it. We'll just ship overseas to help the Germans and kind of prepare the Navy to make sure we don't get murdered. Right, the United States is technically our pseudo-ally now. I don't really feel like ending our rivalry with them. I still don't like them. I find it funny that they're doing all this for just investment rights in France, though. You could have just, you could have taken back some of the Confederacy. I'm not sure what you mean by supplements, Vincent. Because they're already getting all the supplies. Oh, these supplements. I don't really use these. They help with morale recovery, so it's a bit faster, but I feel like the end gain from them is fairly negligible. It could help, but I don't know if it does. I'm just not that certain that it's useful. Yeah, we're just gonna dig in and help the Germans defend the key points. But we'll help push the Confederacy, because the Confederacy should actually be somewhat weakened. I mean, it does help with GDP, because it does create more artificial demand for the good. But then we also have to pay for it as the government, and well, we've been running a deficit for a long time this game. Plus all the imports we have to make. But we'll consider it. It doesn't do anything to help the armed forces be stronger, though. Clout-wise. Not that I think we can keep it up. I think this fails eventually. But it could succeed, who knows. They might actually win down here, that's unfortunate. Oh, I know why. I forgot to set this to only Americano armies for offense. Yeah, so... The Germans probably led us into some unfortunate defeats that got our troops killed. Unfortunate, but it happens with the AI. Hey, kill rate and army defense. Let's go. Also might be because they have trench infantry and we have skirmishers, but we're working towards that right after macroeconomics are done. Because we're definitely not ahead on technology. We're kind of a pace with the AI at best. Oh, 11 convoys sunk. That's fine. All right. Time to decide what's probably going to be our last company. Not that we have a lot of options because of various circumstances that are preventing our decisions. Would not mind the oil rig company, actually. That would be kind of nice. You actually have several choices here, too. Which are very similar, but the only difference is that this one actually gives you 15 convoys instead of the Caribbean one that gives you 10. That's kind of weird. It's actually pretty weird now that I think about it. If our steel mills weren't mass owned by Belgium, I'd consider this. Oh yeah, I forgot about Santiago. Why not? Even though someone else already owns a bunch of our arms industries. More migration attraction? Oh, could consider that instead. That would be the premium oil one. Yeah, I guess we do want an oil company, don't we? I think there's just a lot of foreign ownership in our oil companies, but it's like nominal ownership. It's not anything serious. Not anything serious for now. I'd like to know, we have 100 oil rigs, and the vast super majority of them are in one state, owned by foreigners. I find this to be very amusing. We're gonna try to build some up quickly, just so we can establish the company here with it. I just need to own a few, and that'll be kind of it, really. Oh, good news! Our budget is green again because a bunch of our troops are dead. Funny how that works. When you don't have people to pay anymore, you suddenly have more money to go around. It's like magic. It just works. Might also be because I'm letting the private investment pool do more of our construction while we focus on the war. But I mean, it's working. I actually forgot we had access to regional company headquarters. Did I give anyone investment rights? I don't remember giving anyone investment rights. Where are these? Wait. Where is this regional company coming from? I'm very curious. I don't recall this. I know there are regional company headquarters in our country, but they shouldn't be feeding into our investment pool. I'm a little confused. Is it because they no longer have the investment rights, so now we're getting the dividends? I'm genuinely confused by that. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't seen it like that until now. Okay, Belgium left. One fleet's gonna defend us, the other is working on blockading. And it looks like they're winning, so that's a good sign. Still trying to get more ships built for them, though. But the fact they're winning is good. Are we blockading the main point? No. What is their market point considered? Oh, Belgium has joined the French market. I see. Okay. So I can't fully embargo the French economy now. Okay, that's a little unfortunate, but we'll just blockade what we can in that case. Clever French. Saw right through our scheme. Alright. Yeah, we'll go with the oil one that just gives migration attraction. It's nothing fantastic, but we can do it. Oh, you can give it coal mine rights too. Awesome. Hey, you can finally remove the opium tax. Let the people rejoice a little. That's also I can add a monopoly to the oil rigs, so we can increase the oil rig prices. Or, well, sorry, the price of oil. Increase the price of oil rigs. What am I saying? Although the state is now suffering some accessibility issues, that's entirely normal. Just following the historic timeline, pretty much. We do have various states that are still suffering transport shortages, though, which I'm a little concerned about. Because it does mean the buildings are operating at partial efficiency. But considering we have access to automotive industries, maybe we can work around that a bit. Oh, or a volcano can go off. That's awesome. Okay, game. Thanks. Alright, we'll start pushing with the Germans now, because most of the troops on this front are... Well, not most of them are ours, but 85,000 of them are. And they probably need more troops to push into Alsace-Lorraine. We do get French Nigeria if we win. If we win. We might actually get just kicked out of the war entirely, unless we're targeted. Oh, we are targeted. Fantastic. Okay, we can actually improve education now. And although they would... Oh, God, I really want to get women's rights, though. I mean, we've been getting peasants thanks to the trade union. Even though they're going to oppose it, we're going to try to give women the right to own property just so we have more workers. This is solely because we need more workers, because we're running out of workers again. Even with the ever-increasing domestic construction. Most of it is overseas. Got it. Thanks, game. What? Why is my investment pool building a bunch of steel mills in one German state? It just never ends. They can't help themselves but do this. It's like a disease. They just can't stop. Oh, wow. They bought up all that oil already. Awesome. So we were at 10K oil before establishing this company and before switching the production methods over. We're producing almost 24,000 now and exporting about 18K. Oil is rapidly closing into being our biggest export. And I am all for it. It won't shoot up our GDP too much, but our GDP is definitely gonna enjoy it. Could definitely get a lot of jobs off of the oil rig with more railroad usage, but we need to actually drop the price of transportation. It's extremely high because of the pups, which is a bit of an issue. How's California doing? Oh, it's actually getting more people. Well, that's good. I'm happy to see that. Veracruz. It's all the way over here, right? Yeah. Yeah, we got plenty of oil going. Still haven't fixed our map, though, and I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I don't think we're ever getting this map fixed. It's like an endless problem that will just never get solved. This war with France might also end in a stalemate at this rate. Could end a rivalry and embargo of the US and try to get them to like us again, but considering we're mutually hostile, I don't think that's happening ever. Just ever. Oh, I paid for newspaper support during the thing. I didn't even realize. Ah, well, it's fine. It won't kill us. Probably won't kill us. I don't think the automobiles will bump the GDP too hard, but we'll have to see. I think our real goal here is to just keep doing what we're doing. Okay. No one would come to Argentina's defense, it says. I might be able to swipe a single state from Brazil without intervention. So if we target their main state, we could just finish crippling Brazil. I have a lobby demand to remove trade privileges with the Italians. I kind of don't want to, though, because we have good imports and exports of them. Oh, dear goodness, Qing is being destroyed by Russia. I mean, we should have seen it coming, but, you know, the humanity. What an awful thing that's happening. Anyway. How is transportation looking now? Still pretty expensive in multiple states. Not as expensive in other states. No, I have not really ever played with mods. I've kind of dabbled and played a few mods for a couple of years to kind of look them over. But I've never gone for like a full modded playthrough start to finish. It's just something I've never really done, I admit. Apparently the only war goal now is to transfer Tahiti, chat. So we're just going to take one of our navies real quick. Go through our nice little canal zone. And see if we can't just pull it off to end this war before the debt crisis triggers. If the debt crisis triggers. Also at 300 million GDP, we're still the 4th largest economy. Germany has actually surpassed Britain for largest economy. But it's also stalling out because of the war, which is unsurprising. Could also have grown because of the war too, though. That's something else to consider. Could be both ways. Ooh, all these investments going on in China. Nice. Honestly, I might let our investment pool just kind of take the reins here. I know it's mostly foreign investment that it's doing, but I kind of just, out of morbid curiosity, I want to see what will happen if I do this. I just want to see what happens. Thankfully, a lot of the chaos that Qing was suffering was in the northern area, so the grain imports aren't being disrupted too much. But I know Germany has actually been making and exporting grain too, interestingly enough. They actually export over 8,000 grain. I don't think they have a company for grain, they're just making a lot of grain. Yeah, they just happen to be making a lot of grain. Right, we actually have to set the invasion to advance front, don't we? Yeah. So we're just kind of sitting outside the island staring them down without actually trying to seize it. So they were probably a little concerned for a while until we finally landed. Which is still concerning for them, just now they know what's going to happen. Yeah, so our population growth is slowing down as our standard of living goes up, and I think it's just going to keep doing that. But we'll live with it. Oh my god, the oil company's got over 3,000 productivity. I mean, I knew oil was making a lot of money, but wow, is it making a lot of money. Like the richest pops in the world. I could agree to this, chat, but I'm going to be stubborn and wait 2 more weeks, just so France is forced to get nothing. Hey, we actually got Niger. Look at that. We got another subject instead of reducing our numbers of subjects, but now we at least hold a piece of Africa. There's a lot of French companies mixed into it, but we're just going to ignore them and pretend they're not there. I've got that migration attraction bonus from premium oil, which is nice. And there it is. I expected that we'd eventually get this war from the Americans. Which is scary because while they don't have a big standing army, chat, they do have a godload of conscript potential. And while I can somewhat get our own conscript potential up, it's not going to be the same as the American conscript potential. But we will do our best. make the rest of these cannon. Okay, this is going to break the bank. I don't think we're going to win this, but I am going to mobilize all conscripts, and we're just moving straight to the front. Okay, there we go. Why is this half faded? There we go. Yeah, this'll be fun, right, chat? We knew this was coming at some point. At some point. Yeah. Huh. Apparently Britain's willing to come help me if I give them a state or give them a subject. If I give them American Niger. I'd rather not give... Even though Britain could very much win this war for us, I kind of don't want to give them anything. Unfortunately, Germany can't get pulled into this, I guess, because, they ended our alliance. I totally forgot. That was the other treaty we had. They ended our alliance, so they can't just get yanked in. I won't say we've been backstabbed, chat, but we have been left to dry. Huh. In this case, it would make the map ugly, but I would love to see New York City and Pennsylvania. But it's probably wiser to actually seize Oregon and Washington, because that will reduce the naval potential of the Americans. And that's still 8% of their GDP right there. Who else can we sway? Mexico if they didn't hate our guts. Oh, they have Congo. Weird. Dutch Congo also exists, which is just as weird, if not weirder. That's 25 million GDP right there. That's the same as getting the state of New York in that case. Probably a lot of groceries and coal. It is. It's quite literally what it is. It'll make people not like us, but people don't like the Americans already either anyway. Oh, Canada actually just sided with them just because they like them, I guess? Yeah. So apparently we've got to deal with the Canadians too, who also have their own army. So this war just got even more interesting, chat. All right. And let's add liberation of New England as well. How much money article can we add? 47,000 secondary demand. It doesn't say it gives infamy, so we'll just add that too. Probably could have added more if we didn't add the other goals, but gotta do something. I know it's an industrialist I just added. We're just kind of throwing people in because I need to raise this army with conscripts to just defend the capital in case the Americans decide to attack it with a surprise. I know we've got the Navy, but we can't rely on just the Navy. If we rely on just the Navy, we could end up dead. So are they planning to attack or defend? Defend, then we'll move in. We have more starting forces than they do, but they're just going to rally more troops as time goes on, so we'll see if this actually goes to plan or not. Yeah, they're immediately going to try and land on us. Good news is I can outmaneuver them through the canal. And they cannot outmaneuver us. We can also murder their market access with a blockade, which is what we're doing already. So that's going to at least cripple their ability to import whatever they're importing. Apparently they're exporting a lot of art and importing a lot of tea. Which I find a little strange, but no matter. Yeah, no, I thought maybe an offense wouldn't go well, what I wanted to see, and yet it didn't. It's better to just dig in and let them waste their lives on us. Ah, good. Trench infantry. That will turn the tide of this fight, because they have trench infantry and we don't. So us getting trench infantry is a very good, good change. Also given women property rights, so we do at least have some additional incoming soldiers. But this is also an incredibly expensive war for both sides. It's a blockade achievement. Oh, good to know we're really choking the Americans out. Oh, I guess they have more generals on this side than we do. Because they instantly took some of the territory of California. Or all of our troops got yanked into fights, so they just kind of got a freebie, which is possible. That is a lot of dead Americans and Canadians. Oh, wow, that's, yeah. That's not even a full trench warfare unit yet. Oh, God, the kill-death ratio is about 4 to 1 in favor of us, chat. From that one fight, yikes. It's almost a 100k difference in death. Yes, Gladiator, welcome, you have caught it. It was hiding in the shadows. We just killed over 100,000 Americans in a single battle for 35,000 casualties of our own. So whatever casualties we just took in a previous fight has been completely debalanced. In fact, they no longer seem to be willing to push once again. But we are going to wait until all of our skirmish conscripts have become trench infantry here. Because if we were to push right now, that would end poorly. In fact, how is their economy doing? I mean, ours is not going to do well either because we are doing an absolute massive amount of deficit spending. We might actually have to reinstitute the service tax. I'm just hoping that the Americans will break, financially speaking, before we do. I can't draft a treaty to see what their debt is looking like. So the best indicator we'd have to go on is going to be their war support, or their capitulation desire, actually. Which they already are taking on loans, at least, just not big loans. They technically occupy a bit of California still, it says. Oh, they are pushing again, okay. We managed to... Oh, thank God we rolled Doug in, because apparently these Canadians are really good at pushing. 68 offense, my God. Yeah, radios is something everyone's going to need. It looks like the Canadians have a lot of offense, too. This one army is getting almost 100% increase to its offense, but it is using reckless advance, which does have the afflicted effect of causing you to suffer additional casualties due to your dropped recovery rate. It is still going to push us back, though. Panicked retreat rolled, which just nukes your defense and offense. But, we'll do what we can. We knew this was going to be a harsh war. I don't think we're actually going to win anything out of it. But we'll see what happens. Is this all being blockaded too already? Effectively. So just go here and actually convoy raid. We're just going to try to choke them out wherever we can. The good news is that when it's the Americans leading, they don't do as well. It's only when the Canadians help. Oh, you're all good there. You're all good there, X. We're just kind of playing as a we started out as New Granada, which is present-day Colombia, and kind of grew into the Federation of the Americas. The Americans are trying to take California from us and started a war. Canada joined on their side. It's just an absolute mess right now. I'm also trying to ignore the fact that our financial situation is worsening at a rapid pace, but I might not be able to ignore that for long. I'm actually already going to raise taxes and put on consumption taxes to buy us time here because we need the Americans to break before we do, but I don't think they're going to break that fast. They have just as large an economy as we do, after all. But whenever the Canadians start helping them, though, it does seem to go better. Oh, what else do they want to take from us? A lot of other states. They do want California, but they want other states too, so this might work out in our favor in the end. Well, not in our favor. It might work out in the sense that we don't lose everything. Ah, they rolled Panic Retreat. That just really sucks, because then the casualties you take spike. They are still suffering a greater number of casualties than we are, though. I'm just hoping that we can hold out. I don't think we will, though. They're going to burn California to the ground one way or another. Yeah, it looks like despite having a little more defense than them, they are rolling good battle conditions like Surprise Maneuver, which is allowing them to inflict enough morale damage to make us lose. Yeah, I guess we are kind of like the United States of Central America, but it's more like Latin America. So California is going to get occupied here. We rolled multiple just kind of bad situations, which is unfortunate, but it does happen in war. Sometimes it comes down to the RNG, and the RNG is not in your favor. Because we already have luxurious supplies. We're using first aid. We could be on field hospitals, but we'd have to use a lot of opium then. We are researching wargaming to try and improve the army more, and defense and death would help too. It's just a lot of techs we need to grab that we just don't have right now. So we'll move them over here where we can. I don't think we could get a landing off, mostly because I'm pretty sure the AI will just mass react to it and stop us, but we'll give it a try given the circumstances. We actually probably should give our armies motors so they can move around faster. God, our meat demand is so high. Hot consumption, apparently. Allegedly. Beer uprising. Well, I can't really deal with that right now. Actually, I can. We can send a single division. Oh, they're occupied. Never mind. They're occupied by the Americans, actually. I don't mind the Americans trying to navally land, actually. And the Canadians, apparently. Because if they do that, they'll probably just lose. Same thing goes with our naval invasion, though, which is why I think this war is going to just end in a white peace. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. It ends in a white peace in the end. We do actually need to demobilize most of the army now because we are in a separate war. It's kind of causing them to be excessively active. Oh, that's an uprising we can't even reach. Interesting. So... yeah. That's just... that just wins, I guess. Not really much we can do about it. Yeah, the economy took a tumble there from all the debt and whatnot, but it's fine. We were, despite their occupation of California, we were able to fight the Americans to a stalemate. So, despite their insane levels of conscription compared to ours, we were able to weather the storm. And we didn't have to worry about bankruptcy. That wasn't too hard. Oh, if the land takes too long to reach, we can't reach it, so I can't invade them through Sokoto. Okay. Bit of an issue. Well, I mean, the alternative, I guess, was invading through Sokoto, but I thought we could just make an agreement to walk over and do it. I didn't realize it had to have a very short timer. That is new information for me. So, lucky us. We got to learn something new today, chat. We'll probably forget about it, but for the moment, we get to learn about it. That's something to celebrate. Even if we don't want to celebrate it right now. Oil rigs are doing pretty good. And we're slowly getting more peasants as the workforce ratio goes up, which I am delighted to see. Hey, mass scale trading. We can upgrade our trade centers now. Probably not the wisest thing to do. You're going to see a lot of red for a bit, chat, because suddenly there's going to be too many exports and imports. So all that's going to go red because the numbers just jumped upwards and it completely destabilized the market's pricing. But it will recover if you give it a few weeks or months to crash around. Looks like we need more automobiles, actually, which I am delighted to see that the number of automobiles that we need has increased. Trying to build around our economic heart for it, though. Yeah, there we go. It's slowly shifting and recovering. Yeah, there we go. It's positive now. Just taking its time. I'm surprised at how much glass we import. We don't really make that much glass here. Apparently Germany makes lots of glass. We're importing their glass. Oh, wow. Jeez. Germany is just growing. I mean, do we want to do landed voting? We technically could do landed voting, but the problem is that the clergymen would have the most votes by size, then the capitalists, then the officers. So it kind of just comes down to the question of whether or not we want to give the officers less power. Although that being said, we did just add another 0.05% of the population to the officer class. So that's nice. And I am actually going to grab defense in depth too, I think, just because of the looming threat. Actually, really quick, I would like to get the telephone. Because the telephone means radios. And the compression ignition engine's good too. I have decision paralysis again, chat. Let's grab defense in depth for now. I kind of want machine guns, actually. No, okay, let's not do that. Let's grab the telephone to prepare for radios. I don't know, Vincent. Do we want landed voting? I'm not sure if we do want it, is the issue. It's a hard decision. Does the military really need to allow voting? I mean, we have 3 years to decide on it, I guess. Not that it matters too much to me. We do still have the highest standard of living in the game. Oh, yeah, Romania exists. I forgot that they could exist. Romania exists, and it's in the German market. Okay. And I'm guessing it has a lot of oil going for it? Not quite, but it does have a fully staffed coal mine that's owned by mainly a French company. Which is funny to me. But yeah, Germany is definitely the powerhouse at this point. They are definitely the powerhouse now. Oh, they want landed voting right now because the armed forces are moderate, and technically their ideology leans closer to landed voting and autocracy than oligarchy, for whatever reason. That's just how it's been designed for them. But honestly, we could just ignore the request and keep it as is. You know, just pretend we acknowledge it and don't actually acknowledge it. Just leave it where it is. How are we doing on transportation issues? We still have some transportation issues, but the number has dropped, which is a good sign. So we'll kind of poke our heads around a bit here to see if we can't solve it in some states. Yucatan makes sense. We didn't really develop it at all, so yeah. I feel like, considering how our position started, this has gone fairly well. Sure, could be better, could be worse. Did we ever get education up? We did. We finally got education up. Took forever, but we got it. Oh, I guess we'll pass wage subsidies just to make the trade union happy so we keep solidarity up so we have more workers. Technically, it makes the Catholic Church happy too, so that will help with the fact that the birth rate has collapsed again. Because of course it has. And yeah, there really is no way for us to win this. The uprising is just going to win. We can't reach it, but it's irrelevant to me if we couldn't reach it, honestly. There's still parts of our Nigerian colony we have access to, and that's probably the important bits. You know, the bits that make all the fruit. Our biggest import is now glass, followed by motors and then textiles. This is such a weird economy. And I'm pretty sure that means Germany is, without a doubt, our largest trade partner. I'm not going to say we're the reason their economy's grown so much, but we're definitely a factor in the matter because of all the additional demand we can provide their economy. Rather, are providing their economy. I favor the industrialists a bit so they don't whine as much about the whole thing we're doing with laws. What are our officers at now? Back to 9.3%. It is bouncing up and down, and I think that's just what it's going to keep doing. We are mostly solving the transportation issue as well, which will help the economy just a little bit. But not too much. Trying to pay off our debts so we don't have another issue later. Okay, so they're not constructing as much now, which means I need to get back to it. Yeah, there we go. Does this actually have oil, or is it just... Yeah, it's just exporting. Trying to bounce around and see what else we can do. We did just hit a modified standard of living at 25, though. Might not get the rest of the Americas, which is a little unfortunate, but it just shows you how much resistance we're facing. There's just opposition to our grand design, you see. Take those two, it cuts that off. Trying to see what we can take to just make it look a little bit nicer here. What are we at? 77.2. 95. Okay, I can do that. I can work with that. Just kind of trying to take some of the most important parts of Brazil to get rid of them. Now, Britain could join, and that would really suck, but I believe Britain's involved in another war. Yeah, the Americans decided to start another war against the British, so if the British do join against us, they'll only have a portion of their troops. So it's not the end of the world, at least. We'll also try to liberate Chile, just because. Just because it will rip out a bit of their strength. Not a lot, but any damage we do to Brazil is good damage. Let's target the capital. Actually, is that the capital or is that changed? It is still the capital, okay. Because I just remember that war the civil war they had before. Oh, that will allow us to take what is effectively 44% of their GDP from one state, and then we're taking another 18% from here with coffee and groceries. That'll be really good. Our company's gonna love that. And then we're seizing Mato Grosso as well here, just to smooth out the borders a little and try to make it look at least a little better. Even though it's gonna be really hard to make it look better still. I'm trying to do what I can in that regard. Right, we have the telephone now. Well, I really want to just go straight for compression, ignition. Honestly, it's a waste of time, but we're gonna go straight for compression ignition just because we have access to all this oil potential, especially now that we own areas like California. But I really want to just propel it as forward as we can. California is finally fully recovered from the war, too, so that's nice. How is Germany doing? At this rate, Germany might hit 1 billion GDP before the stream ends. Yeah, we do need the radios, that's true. I just don't have any of the electrical infrastructure set up yet, and even if we had it set up, we don't have the technologies yet to actually utilize the radio. But I suppose we could at least grab the radio itself. That way we have it once we can use it. With the assumption that we're not going to be able to use it for quite a long while here. Not that we have much time left. We're in 1914, and this will probably be the last variant of the stream we do. Still, I'd say we're doing pretty nice. Empty pockets? Oh well. Oh man, they really want me to revoke the trade privileges, but I just, no. Might lose some authority for not finishing it. Oh, they didn't finish colonizing it. But I really don't want to do that if I don't have to. Oh, are they all defensive? Did I forget to? Yeah, I did. Ah! We're just staring the Brazilians down. We're just threatening to invade at any moment. Oh. One of the generals got a new order and he immediately died. He just couldn't take it. I had replaced some of the green and grass campaigns before, but that's because some of them I had to rip out to use elsewhere. Though, we did put some in the Peru region because it desperately needs pops that it just doesn't have. Yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna hit 1 billion GDP at this rate. Man, my Belgium game, it was Britain. This time it's gonna be Super Germany, which makes sense. It is Super Germany, so they would have that potential. And their companies are definitely feasting. Even if that includes a food company that's just biting into my profits. I mean, all their companies are at 1 million profit or more, so they're doing good. Art Academy building throughput. Oh wow, we actually got another mandate. The problem is that we no longer have enough members. So I guess that'll just sit there. Boy, we can get more officers. Fantastic. I really don't want to, but I guess I should activate the automatic irrigation for the banana plantations. Not that they're being very productive to begin with, but eh. I'm almost willing to accept an alliance. They never truly will accept us as an ally, though, but oh well. Ah, there it is, chat. 1914 of October, the Super Germany AI managed to hit 1 billion GDP with a GDP per capita of 6. We'll play for like maybe another half hour. We'll see how far they get. But we are slowly closing towards that point where there's not too much more we can do except sit here and watch. Well, Therax, I hope you have a good night's rest, and hopefully whatever you need to do tomorrow isn't too terrible. We're gonna finish off the Brazilians here and liberate Chile just to weaken them further. Hey, we completely occupied Chile and partially burned it to the ground to liberate it, because that's how liberation works, I guess. It's still not a great look with the borders, but it looks a bit better now. So yeah. Rip Brazil. It did kind of knock our standard of living down too, though, but that's not very surprising, considering the circumstances. Just gonna quickly build up coffee plantations here too before something else occupies it. It doesn't have to be coffee, I just want it to be coffee. We do consume a lot of it and export a good deal of it, so it's a worthwhile cash crop. Something the AI would cook up, pretty much. Might as well. Might as well be. Oh no, they're below 1 billion GDP. The AI's messed it up. Oh no. Alright, there we go. Radios are unlocked. There's a lot of automobiles that we still need. Telephones too. I think we're actually fine on transportation costs now that we have automobiles. And, well, I guess not really. In some areas with the companies, they're still going to be pretty expensive. But the others will certainly do better. Never got that prosperity bonus. I am thoroughly disappointed. But I've also learned a good deal because of it. I love all the oil rigs we own in Germany. We're just causing Germany to get even more oil, which is definitely helping them, without a doubt. Oh, the armed forces are upset now. Ah, failed petition, right. Yeah, we never did really pass that, huh? Kind of just refused to democratize the country. Oh well. Oh, once I find more oil in Germany, we're definitely buying it all out. Also, I'd like to report, the US is game-ruining, Canada. Yeah, Vincent, no coup. I'm sure the armed forces aren't currently plotting to overthrow us to establish landed voting as a pseudo-democratic state. Even though that would basically mean they'd be couing themselves, but... honestly, that sounds par for the course if it actually happens. Yeah, no, I would like to report that the US is game-ruining Canada. They are horrifyingly game-ruining Canada. This is getting worse by the second. The flags weren't in the way, you could see. There's just American flags everywhere. Just devastated beyond belief. Canada might recover from this, but I don't know if they can recover from it. At least, I don't think they'll be able to completely recover. Their GDP used to be at about 229 million. They're down to less than 10 million because of the occupation. And they're losing several million pops a year, and it's just getting worse as time goes on. Even if the war ends now, they're still gonna suffer for a while. Which is definitely very bad for them. Oh, more rubber. Rubber for the rubber barons. Hey, Canada's still occupied. Never mind. How is this getting worse? It's like watching a car crash just get worse and worse as time goes on. Minus 16% annual projected pop growth. We're quite literally watching hundreds of thousands pass away per month. This is awful. Let's go look at something else. I can't watch that. Germany, I forgot to mention, at some point Germany did become a presidential republic. Probably happened a long time ago and I didn't notice it until now. They even have their little traffic light coalition. That's cute. How adorable. Tuscany is the highest GDP per capita. Ah, they're in the German market. That makes sense then. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was weirded out by that until I learned. Hey, all top 10 GDPs have 100 million GDP or more. Even the Confederacy has managed to pick up the pace. Still using slave trade though, which is not as good. Gave you an idea for your Ottoman campaign? Excellent. I hope it makes it go even better for you. Or at least that you have even more fun with it, I would say. Did I not put up our sulfur companies for sale for the, Weird. I must have unprivatized them all without realizing it. Huh. That's why the, Sicilian Sulfur Company never expanded. It's because they couldn't. I thought I had set it to where they could, but I guess I never did. Because my hope here was to get more Sicilian sulfur. There we go. They're starting to buy it all up. Oh, I see. The regular company is buying it too, yeah. That is just useful for making more explosives and paper, which are things that we do. So that is just a very good boost to like paper production and fertilizer production especially, since that's practically half the inputs if you don't add oil. If you do add oil, it kind of shifts it around a bit. The infamy is so high. Can't even conquer Uruguay without implementing a lot of infamy in the process and getting someone to get involved. Oh well. We have reached 400 billion GDP with our limited size, so the only economies larger than us right now are the British and the Germans. And we kind of trade with both economies despite one of them hating on us. 20,000 exported oil, 18,000 exported rubber, almost 18,000 exported sugar. We are a plantation economy for sure. And yet we import 16,000 engines, 8,000 grain. We even import 8,000 tools, even though we could easily make them ourselves. So we've definitely specialized our economy here. This is a specialized Latin America economy. Unfortunately, premium oil's productivity has been slowly dropping, but I like to think it's because they're just paying their workers more, even though it's probably not true. It's probably not true in the slightest. That's a lot of foreign construction, which is good. Yeah. Oh, Mexico's being invaded by the British. Huh. Oh. That'll be fun for them. Yeah, this got even worse. The Canadians hit as much as almost minus 20% annual pop growth, because that's how awful the devastation here is. Everyone's unemployed. There's a lack of market access from the extreme destruction that the state has sustained. So not only are they suffering from a mass increase in mortality from a modifier, chat, they are also suffering from the fact that they're under extreme levels of severe starvation. They can't get food, which means they're getting as high as a minus 25% mortality rate with no births. Literally, if the conditions don't change, a fourth of this pop group will be dead by next year. The Americans have game ruined Canada so hard, they showed us, the player, how to game ruin. It'll recover, but Canada's probably going to go below 20 million pops before it finishes. Its economy still hasn't recovered, by the way, because it doesn't have market access. So this is going to go on for an extended period of time. In unrelated news, the industrialists just became powerful, so that's fun. Now it's a junta backed by capitalist money, which honestly is probably pretty realistic. A lot of this is probably pretty realistic. Alright, can we see the big 1.1 GDP on the AI? We might get to. I hope we do. Oh, we'll come back to it in a little bit. One of our generals just died. Gotta keep the armed forces powerful, you know? We're also once again at the point where we have no peasants, but we've automated so hard that there's not much more automation we can do except to get conveyor belts and using electricity in that regard, but that's going to require hiring people in the first place. I love how dependent we are on the world market for our exports. It's funny. Oh, wow. People just outright don't even want to work in the glassworks. We have them. They just don't want to work there. All right, then. If that's how they're feeling. So much more oil we could be making. Oh, I see. They are actually paying their workers more. That's why productivity's gone down. They're paying an average annual wage of 50 here. So these people are just really rich. I mean, true. We don't try to game ruin the AI as much because we usually want to take the territories and use them. But also, it's because Paradox made it to where devastation, instead of a daily change of minus 0.1, it's It's now minus 0.02. So devastation lasts at least 5 times as longer. They also added a throughput negative for devastation 2, which can just make this even more obliterative. Oh! To add to the issue, they're obviously in default, which is causing another up to minus 50% issue for their throughput. So Canada is basically on absolutely limited production levels. I said they might go below 20 million. They might go below 18 million before this is over at this rate. That's awful. Oh, mind me, we're just slowly developing the Amazon rainforest here. It's gonna slowly change it out. It gives migration attraction, which is nice, and reduces the infrastructure and state construction efficiency issues. Well, that's pretty fun. We still have the path to liberalism journal entry. I find that funny. Because we're never going down that path. Yeah, they're basically corpses, Vincent. They're basically corpses. Oh, yeah, with China, that should be fun. I admit, I was going to try it once as Britain, one late night, to just game murder Qing right off the bat, but then my game crashed, so I never went back to it. It crashed in like 1837, so I just didn't bother. But that was likely very unrelated to what I was doing. It was probably one of the unstable patches. Knowing me, it probably was. But yeah, this has been pretty fun. Oh god, what is happening? Wait, I'm confused. Why does the African country of Gaza have occupation on the Confederacy? I know it's because they're being backed by others, like other countries that are revolting from Britain as well, and Germany's backing this too. But it's weird to see the Gaza flag from Africa over this, from South Africa. Oh yeah, the Confederacy's economy is just going through the gutter too. Wait. Oh no, is Canada about to get occupied again? Canada didn't recover from the last occupation. They can't endure another one. They haven't even finished recovering. Why is Canada being game ruined so hard? I wish we had the pop graph, but that's bugging out. But you can see from the economic collapse, they obviously had a lot going. Their GDPC of 0.02. Oh boy. Oh wait, no, I saw this wrong. It's okay. Canada's not about to get occupied a second time. They're fine. They're fine, chat. It's okay. Canada's not about to be bullied out of existence. According to this, the Germans did surpass 1.1 billion GDP at some point, but I presume the ongoing war has disrupted trade networks and made it very difficult for them to do any further trade. Okay, there we go. We got Bolivia down to puppet status. So that at least makes this look a little better. It's more cohesive with the color. Because that looked awful before. There we go. I thought we'd get our pops more standard of living before this ends. And then also just upgrade our food industries to efficient can practicing. Though I didn't do the switch in time, so we just had a very awkward moment with the economy there. Just gonna keep the train rolling for a little longer. Alright. Germany's still building in us. Love it. Man, they're at 16 million. It's still dropping. This is horrifying. They still, like, the recovery takes way longer now. So if you're occupied for an extended period of time, plus famines, you can get devastated. I mean, even the people who are working as peasants, since they have basically no food security, although that just recovered, they were sitting at around -20, but they're finally starting to recover to where it's now regular starvation instead of severe starvation, because they're able to get work done now. To an extent, they're still starving horribly. But this is finally able to hire peasants because the throughput has finally shifted enough. So a lot of the unemployed are becoming peasants. Which means the Canadian economy is finally coming back. That being said, they are going to drop below 15 million pops at this rate before it recovers. And that's not including anyone who is also probably mass emigrating from places like Ontario because of the utter devastation it has suffered. Oh, wow. The funny thing, a lot of them are fleeing over to Ireland. So Ireland is just seeing an influx in pops from Canada. I wouldn't call it a permanent peasant economy, but considering we're probably going to end the stream in 15 minutes, Canada is likely to not fully recover. The fact they lost so many pops and their economy has been devastated years after the war is horrifying, and I love it. I love how horrifying it is. Oh. Looks like the Germans are being invaded by the British because Britannia rules the waves. Even though it has a lower economy and GDP, it still has quite the military dominance on the high seas. As a loud motorcycle goes past, I believe. Hey, Greek mass migration from a tiny island location. Aren't we glad, chat? Aren't we happy? Have we been dealing with a flood over here and I never noticed? Yeah, apparently our economy's been dealing with a flood in the background while I wasn't paying attention. Well, we have a GDP per capita of 5.6. And that's 17th in the world. I mean, there's Venezuela, but they're really just an extension of us at this point. That's it. Oh, Brazil Radical Revolt. Very cool. Canada's now dealing with an uprising because of the severe situation. A native uprising, I should specify. Well, I mean, native in the sense that they're the indigenous people that used to live here. Or anyone else. Anyway. Bulgarian mass migration. Okay, I can work with that. Ooh. I was gonna say it won't be that big, but the capital is actually getting 19k pops per week. Up to almost 1 million. I mean, I guess the population over here has been growing for a while, yeah. Ah, Turkey actually has over 100 million GDP, chat. Oh. Turkey has over 100 million GDP and they're on traditionalism. That's just awful. I hate it. Serbian mass migration. Okay, I've been convinced. I no longer hate it. We're suddenly getting this last minute influx of pops. Which I am grateful for, but also screw the game. For holding back on us until now. Oh wow, so we got a Bulgarian mass migration, a Serbian mass migration, and then the Bulgarians just decided instead of leaving, they're just gonna uprise against the Ottomans. I'm sorry, but I just find that really amusing. The timing makes it funny. Oh! I see it's time for the second Indian uprising. Considering how the first one went. They still at war with Germany. They are, so Britain might actually be divided on that. They also might not be. How fun. I just can't help but I keep looking back at Canada because of just how horrible the situation is. It's unreal. Hey, we're 7th for population now. We didn't really catch up, but we didn't fall behind either. Italy's actually in the top 10 now. That's cool. We did surpass France in terms of pops at least, so we can be proud of that, if nothing else. How's Qing doing? Hasn't changed any laws of importance. Traditionalism, serfdom, yeah. They don't seem to ever change that. They just get stuck on it for a long time. Oh boy, I can't wait for the British to burn parts of India down again over an uprising. Because that's apparently what's going to happen. Right? Well... Wow, a lot of people want to protect Brazil. Weird. We're just gonna... Before this ends, we're just gonna detour really quickly, and we're just gonna murder Chile. Technically, if I went pariah, we could just murder everything, but the AI's ability to do the economy with the new trade system appears to be a little better. So they're really good at militarizing too now because they have money. I'm not going to claim it's way better, but I will say the AI's economy in 1.9 is better, primarily because the trade system is more functional, and companies can buy out all kinds of buildings, which allows it to be more efficient by just proxy or chance. Granted, we as the player are investing a lot too, which helps them for sure. The AI is just 10 times better, right? The AI has been holding back up until this moment. It's just showing its true colors now. And Germany has the second highest standard of living right behind us. Granted, both our standard of livings are modified by healthcare and then prestige goods, but that's normal. But yeah, the AI is certainly doing better compared to 1.8. I couldn't say how much better beyond that I'm seeing a better improvement for their economies overall on average. Not always. Sometimes the AI will just faceplant, and that's normal. But overall, they're doing better than how they were before. The AI becomes your playing field. That's funny. And there we go. Apparently because it's cosmopolitan too. I already have the achievement, but that's funny. So it's not quite all of South America under our heel, but we're at the point now where Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina are just waiting to be put out of their misery. And then it's just the great powers. If we were to go pariah, we could just, you know, boink it all now. But the problem is not the US joining. It's the fact that the British quite literally have almost 1 million standing men. We have a fraction of that. We could probably fight them. It would just be an absolute slog fest. But I would like to note, it is 1920. There are about 15 to 16 years left to go in the game. It's actually mid to late 1920 here. The armed forces are still powerful. The officers have over 7% clout. They actually have the highest clout in government right now, too. So, we also have 12 million of our 76 million located in one state. That won't bite us if someone occupies it for, you know, 5 years. But I would say this was pretty good. Sugar ended up being our top export because oil started getting used domestically more. We actually import almost 9,000 textiles, which is a good chunk of our total textiles. In fact, you can see here, we import a fair number of our basic goods that we need, even though we make a lot domestically. We export things like rubber and oil, dye, a good chunk of our sulfur. We heavily import motor engines and glass. So it's just all over the place, our imports and exports. But it works so well, too. We do import pretty much all of our cannon, though, which was probably not a good idea. And we import basically all of our ammunition. But it did work out in the end. The trade system does work as long as you don't antagonize the people that are selling everything to you. If you antagonize them, they'll choke you out. I'm actually curious. World market, really quickly. We are now the biggest importer and exporter in the game, actually, chat. We are the #1 importer and exporter. Then it's the Germans. Then it's the British by volume. Yeah, world conquest does kind of alleviate it too. That's true. The Turks have the best trade deficit surplus, but they don't trade that much. Ours is pretty balanced. I don't think this like the trade deficit surplus, it doesn't really mean that much to me. I just find it funny to read. And in fact, the biggest German export is glass, followed by tools and then coal, but they import sugar, coal, rubber, and you can imagine where those are primarily coming from is us. So that's just really cool to see their imports and exports. Russia's actually importing 15,000 coal, apparently. Britain is importing oil and coal. France is importing oil, we saw. What about Qing? Theirs is wild. They're importing almost 12,000 paper. Jesus. Anyway, aside from the fact that Canada literally starved half its population to death and is still dying, I think this has gone quite well. There are a few more years we could do, but I do have some things I need to still get done. Top markets. It's kind of this by volume, really. And then by size. Canada's still suffering. Britain's, India's suffered. It's just awful. Oh, the ledger, right, yes. I mean, if you do it by GDP, it's the British, then the Germans, French, and then the Americano, followed by Russia. And I assume that 23.5 million we just saw there, I assume this is like a per week thing. Because if you times it by 52, it starts to add up. And that's how they usually like to do these. Yeah. So the British GDP overall is actually larger than the Germans. If you go to the power block, we can see that too. But combined, those two have almost 2.5 billion GDP together. Yeah, there's a... You add a couple more here, there's definitely at least 4 billion GDP globally in the world, despite Canada getting burnt to the ground. And India having 2 back-to-back revolts, I guess, but we can ignore those. I know we're ending here, but seeing all of this be different is bothering me. I am a little curious, actually, about our officers. How are they doing? Base of 36, modified to 42. They're pretty wealthy. They get to live well before they die for the Republic. Sorry, the Federation. We're the Federation of the Andes. Which is being held together at the barrel of a gun. I mean, the Americans came to try to break it up and push us out of North America, and we stopped them. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had entertainment out of this stream as well as this run. I'm gonna go look to do another Let's Play or two, but I'm gonna kind of bounce around ideas and see what I want to do next. If you have any ideas, feel free to leave them around on my posts and whatnot, and I will do my best to answer them. And I will see